Eastern Illinois head coach Chris Wilkerson, the team coming off a 16-10 win at Lindenwood. That was their second straight win, bookending an open date. 2 games left. They'll be Tennessee State this weekend at home, and Robert Morris, team 6-3 overall. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team, and we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Certainly, again, I was proud of the guys' effort. We started real fast. That was one of the goals last week, and probably played our best team quarter of football on offense, defense, and special teams in the first quarter to get off to a 16-0 lead. We won the turnover battle 3-1, and finally we won the sack competition, 6-2. So there was a lot of good stuff. And hey, trying to win a game on the road in the conference is tough. And I was pleased with the end result. But there was a ton of things that we weren't very good with on the day. Offensively, our conversion downs were not where we need to be. We were 4 out of 17, couldn't convert a short yardage situation in the second half at all. That was 24% for the game. We got 0 points off all 3 takeaways. And then even defensively, the first drive of the third quarter, I thought Lindenwood really stuck it to us just a little bit. We were kind of on our heels and allowed them to get back in the game. But anyway, hey, it was. I'm proud of the guys' effort. We took another step in the right direction, and a lot of things to correct this week. We had a great Sunday. The guys had a lot of guys around the building yesterday, and certainly very excited about the opportunity to play at home against a very, very, very talented, very well-coached, disciplined football team in Tennessee State.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to questions. Dan, as many as you got. Go ahead.
So not necessarily just talking about last Saturday, but are points sometimes harder to come by later in the season for a number of factors?
I don't think so. I think it's just, a matter of executing. And, we had some critical situations where we didn't execute. We had some guys open and we overthrew, a couple guys. We had a couple drops. And then we had some short yardage situations where we did try to run the football and, we either didn't get the combination right. We weren't real physical at the point of attack. Or even our running back at times, jumped out a little bit going east and west as opposed to understanding the situation and only need a yard. And you got to find a way to go north and south in those situations. So part of the learning experience but again, you just got to find a way. Everybody's got the same things late in the year. You've seen more videotape. There's more scouting on each other. And, certainly guys are bumped and bruised at different times and different teams. But, right now, the bottom line is you just got to find a way.
You mentioned the improvements in the defensive pressure. Any particular thing you would point to for that, or just a culmination of things?
I think a culmination of things, as always. The secondary tightened up their coverage a little bit. I thought, Coach Wyatt does a phenomenal job with our defensive front, Fred Wyatt. And in the first half, there were a couple times where our edge players were kind of going past the level of the quarterback, and that's a problem that we've had, a lot this year. And we really worked hard on trying to get them to understand you can't run past the level of the quarterback. You got to collapse the pocket. You've got to turn it into a power rush. And we kind of did that towards the end. And some guys were there in the middle and forcing some pressure, and the quarterback had to step up, and there wasn't anywhere to go. So as always, again, I think the coverage tightens up on the back end and the guys in the under part of the coverage. And then even some of the guys that were blitzing are adding into the rush. And then the forefront guys did a phenomenal job altogether. But again, our defense is playing very well, and that's something we've got to continue to improve on.
Switching to Tennessee State, I mean, one man doesn't make a defense, but certainly you're well aware of Terrell Allen, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's in my opinion, he's the best defensive player we've seen. Certainly this year, he may be one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. He leads the nation in forced fumbles. He leads the nation in sacks, and he leads the nation in tackles for loss. Again, he's got a great motor. He's strong. He's twitchy. He can bend. I went back and rewatched last year's game, and I think he had 2 or 3 sacks against us and just really demoralized one of our offensive tackles. So we've got our hands full. You better know where he's at. And it doesn't, and like you said, it's not just a one-man wrecking crew. Coach Fisher does a phenomenal job with that defensive unit there in Nashville. And it starts up front. They're big and physical in the middle. Both edges are awesome. Like I said, Terrell's probably one of the best edge players in the country. Their linebackers run and hit, and their secondary is long and athletic. And they have really, really, really done a good job playing disciplined, fundamental football. So it's been fun to watch, and now it's going to be a challenge to compete against.
How do you balance that with, you've got one really talented player on the opposing defense. Certainly you want to account for him, but you also don't want to overplay it, right? Where you free up other guys.
Yeah, no, I think your job as a coach every week is to try to play to the strengths of our skill set. And still for us, it's Eastern Illinois versus Eastern Illinois. But at the same time, yes, you have to be aware of trying to do what you can do as a coach and as a team to attempt to neutralize, one of their better players. And if possible, if they're going to beat you, make somebody else do it. But they've got people all over the place and talented guys. And like I said, they're playing disciplined, fundamentally sound, hard-nosed, aggressive football. And so it'll be a tremendous challenge for our offense.
And then finally, I just want to ask you about it being senior day. That's always a big event, no matter which program you're in.
It is. It's exciting. And also it's a little bit emotional time. And so we've got, 23 seniors and then one of our student assistant coaches. So 24 people that'll walk during senior day. There are some guys in the group that have eligibility and will make a decision at a later point in time. But for them, it's kind of the culmination of an amazing journey and what football has meant to each and every one of them as a part of their life and their commitment, and to celebrate their commitment and their passion for football at Eastern Illinois University. And they've been here through some rocky times. Some of these guys have been here through 2 or 3 head coaches and not a lot of winning football. But for those guys that have stayed here and remain committed to the process, we want to make sure we celebrate their commitment. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's an honor and a privilege to walk into this building every day and be around these young people. And I know that every person that leaves our program is going to be more prepared for the rest of their days. So like I said, it's exciting. It's kind of crazy to think that this thing started back in July and going all the way back to last November in Martin with this collection of people, and that we are coming down to the home stretch. But hey, there's a lot more to be done. And we're just going to focus on trying to get better today.
I'm going to see if Kyle has questions.
I had 2 quick ones. So like last year, both of your programs have turned it around now, and you have 6 wins as opposed. So you see similarities and things that you and Coach George have sort of done. Just, you come and you make it your way, and then you see improvement. But any similarities there between you all?
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at the turnover margin, I think has been big, obviously, for us. And I think they have played very complementary football. Their special teams are strong. Their defense has been strong. They've been very, very, very efficient running the football. They've got 2 talented quarterbacks. Certainly Draylon is as good as anybody that we'll see all year. He's athletic. He can make every throw on the field. And Bryant is a guy that is big and physical and can run and still make every throw. They've got great skill on the perimeter. Their offensive line has been very, very, very solid. Guys are well coached. They're athletic. They stay sticky. They don't cut guys loose at all. Like I said, Coach George has done a phenomenal job. They are very well coached. They are very disciplined in addition to being talented. And so that's certainly, one of our biggest challenges is just trying to be able to make sure we continue to execute at a high level and worry about ourselves.
And then worrying about yourselves, that's perfect. You said that you got 2 games left. If you win them, you have 8 wins. You'll be in the conversation for the playoffs. How does that, feel like you not knowing what your team would be going into the season, having this opportunity in front of you to finish with 8 wins with two left?
Yeah, again, it's really for us about controlling what we can, and that's our attitude, our approach, and our response every single day. We can't worry about polls and what other teams do, and who's beating who on any given Saturday, and how many teams are going to get in from different leagues. Hey, look, I am very aware that over the history of the FCS National Championship playoff field, a team with 8 Division I wins is hard to keep out of the tournament. But we can't really worry about that right now. We're focused on trying to get better today and do what we can do to try to send our seniors out on the right note this Saturday at home.
Dan, anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you both.
Right, Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks a million, guys. Go Panthers.